Yet another big primary day going on today. On the line right now is John Zogby, Zogby Analytics. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
Well, let's start on the Democratic side. Bernie Sanders not going down without a fight here, and It's interesting to watch. It's been a little heated, and there's another. I believe there's another one coming up. I think it's a Spanish. That Spanish network is going to be doing one. But what are your thoughts on the Democrats right now?
Well, you know, Bernie is in a long Democratic tradition of a strong showing by a progressive left candidate. That's a powerful wing within the party. And, you know, he was supposed to be a message candidate, an old man running, you know, on a message. And basically, I think what he has shown is that he can win a lot of states. I mean, Hillary's won 10, he's won 8. Different sizes of states, but and it's a race in Michigan. There are folks on the ground who are telling me that some of these 13, 14, 15-point spreads between Hillary and Bernie are not true. That it's probably a hell of a lot closer than that.
You know, John, I had a chance to catch you this weekend on Money Talk with Bob Brinker, a program we air here right on WIBX. As always, a very insightful, informative interview. One of the things you talked about was Bernie's message, and that it hasn't changed in, 6 decades or however long it's been?
Well,
he's always been this guy.
In 1982, he and I were on a panel together, and he said the same exact thing that he's saying today. So there is consistency, and I think what younger voters are seeing is authenticity.
Well, and you know, when you take glances at Bernie Sanders as he's walking, as he's coming onto the stage, he's an old guy. I mean, and he looks old. It's so interesting to see this young group of people really interested in him.
Yeah, it is, and it's also interesting just in recent history to see, you know, when Bob Dole ran in 1996, he was deemed an old man. At 73, Dick Gephardt was seen as too old and looking old. When he was 63 in 2000. By 2008, McCain was not viewed as old at 73. Biden, Trump, Hillary. I mean, the bottom line in terms of age is that we baby boomers are now this age, and there are a lot of us, and we're healthier and more robust than old people before. But I think what millennials are looking for ultimately is authenticity and clarity. And that's why he's connecting.
Yeah. How about as the most honest candidate in the entire race, Republicans and Democrats, Bernie Sanders?
He doesn't seem to adjust the message or tweak it in any way. I mean, essentially, if you listen to a tape of the first debate or a Bernie speech 2 years ago, you're going to hear the same exact thing.
Yeah. Okay, and somebody's asking what your thoughts are on would Bernie Sanders consider an independent run?
No, I don't think so. And in fact, you see that aside from the heat that was generated the other night in the debate, the two of them are mainly, he and Hillary are mainly on the same page, and his tradition has been to talk left and work with the party. Yeah. So.
All right. On the other side, this Republican, you know, all you saw this weekend, and we're not talking about MSNBC here. This is Fox News.
Yeah.
Is this the end of the Democrat or the Republican Party as we know it? That's not coming from the liberal side. This is coming from Republican and conservative strategists.
And it's coming from my side, too, whatever that is. I've been talking about this for a long time. Before you even get into personalities, you've got a hopeless split within the conservative movement. These wings don't get along with each other, don't trust each other. You hear the Republican debate, who's the real conservative? Well, that's deep. Now you add to that Donald Trump, which of course throws everything into a tizzy, and Ted Cruz, who gets along actually with no one. Establishment candidates who really hold their nose when they're on the stage, you know, in the presence of some of these characters. Rand Paul and the appeal of libertarianism, and it's very hard to see this Humpty Dumpty being put back together again.
And what do you see out of today? we're probably looking at nobody dropping out after today. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, nobody's going to drop out after today because it looks like, in Michigan, John Kasich may do better than expected. Polls are all over the place. Some are even suggesting that he can get very close to Donald Trump. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not winner take all. There's a lot of delegates in Michigan, and it'll be, it'll stay competitive. Next week, of course, is the big week, and Rubio absolutely has to win Florida, which he could technically do. The race has gone from like a 22-point race to an 8-point race just in a few days after Trump's bad week, and Kasich now is on the verge of pulling ahead in Ohio.
And then if Kasich wins Ohio, Rubio wins Florida, and then everything else is divvied up, that's a scenario that's leading towards a contested convention, right?
Well, yeah, you follow that scenario if it happens, and Trump then has to win 70% of the delegates, from here on in, and that's going to be very difficult. That's going to be very, not impossible, but very, very difficult.
And when you talk to conservatives, they're not. I spoke with somebody just the other night who I consider somebody who's very knowledgeable, and saying, "Listen, I'd be okay if I don't agree with the Republican establishment. If the Republican Party ceases to exist as it does as we know it today, this person, a conservative, would be okay with that."
I think that there's a lot of disdain and disgust for the party within the party. That's why you see the mess that it's in. There are some conservatives who just can't handle the existence of other kinds of conservatives, social conservatives versus, economic conservatives versus libertarians versus moderates who play the game. This is a recipe for the party falling apart. That's over the midterm. Over the short term, if this becomes a brokered convention, that just accelerates the whole process.
Because it does seem to me, and this will be my last one for you, John, but it seems to me that there's an element of the party that is fed up to the point that they will accept no more. They'll accept no more working with the other side. They're not going to compromise. And if they're not going to compromise, if they don't accept it, and the number's pretty large, what's next? If they were to lose, let's say the Democrats just win by a landslide in not only the presidency but in the House and the Senate, what would be next?
You've got a Whigs know-nothing kind of situation. It splits into two parties. Remains to be seen whether the more moderate wing can appeal to some conservative Democrats. But I think probably those that consider themselves the purest of the pure conservatives actually become the third party. Now, meanwhile, there's some rifts on the Democratic side. So we may have, a massive realignment over the next few years.
Well, you see that Bernie Sanders getting the coming out and being a self-proclaimed socialist, getting the numbers that he's getting right now is pretty alarming, too.
Well, 40+% of the Democrats being polled, that includes a lot of the younger voters, say that at least they have no problem with democratic socialism, if not ultimately identifying themselves.
It's amazing how quickly after the Cold War we all forget, and as people are younger, they don't remember living through all of that. And that word socialism, which was such a terrible word, now is not as bad, it seems, with these people.
Well, it wasn't long ago that the word liberal was something you couldn't whisper in polite company.
Yeah. John Zogby, ZogbyAnalytics.com. John, as always, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Take care. Birthdays here for the 8th of March. And it's Bill Weist, W-U-E-S-T. Do you think I say that right? Weist in Holland Patton. William Warner in Utica. And Latasha Quinones in Utica. Happy birthday. We give the cake to Bill Weist in Holland Patton. He'll get a birthday cake from the Florentine Pastry Shop on Bleecker Street in Utica. Get on our VIP club. And you can submit a birthday by going to WIBX950.com, or you can send it in on a postcard, WIBX Birthdays, 9418 River Road, Marcy 13403. Christine coming up next with news on WIBX.